Hello and welcome to another edition of Coaches, Coffee, and Conversation. I'm Karen Angell and I'm joined today by head coaches Sean Graham of men's and women's cross country and track and field and Lindsay Teeters of lacrosse. Thank you both so much for being here. I want to start by addressing some interesting situations and challenges that both of you have faced over the past many months. Now, Lindsay, you came in June, inheriting a team that went 7-0 in non-conference season before having their season ended when the pandemic hit. So you've really gotten to know your team virtually. You haven't had in-person communication or coaching. How have you dealt with that?
It's been tough, but the girls have been fantastic. I think they've really opened themselves up to get to know me. Allowed me to get to know them a little bit. We've done everything from team meetings to one-on-one Zooms, all the way to class meetings. And, we've really tried to mix it up from everything from serious meetings, involving compliance or, talking about current events or talking about things that we need to kind of get done for the athletic department. But we've also tried to, integrate Jeopardy and trivia, and make sure that the girls are having a little bit of fun. We've got a scavenger hunt this Sunday. We've got a costume contest coming up. So I think as much as it's tough to get to know somebody over Zoom, it's been great to really see different personalities shine through, and allow the girls to kind of, again, get to know me in not only a group setting, but that one-on-one setting through Zooms, phone calls, text messages. I think they're getting more and more comfortable, being able to reach out to me. I'm very fortunate that I have Lindsay and Alex, who are a huge part of that 7-0 run last year. And they've been a great, bridge and connector for me as a new coach. So I think the girls feel really comfortable with them, and are getting to be more comfortable with me.
And Sean, in your case, you have championship seasons that you coach both in the fall and winter and spring. So you're not running cross country right now, but you were in track and field season in March, and you were actually on the road with your team when everything shut down and you guys had to come home. Can you talk about how your team reacted to that and how you've been staying connected and focused since then?
Yeah, it was certainly an interesting situation for us. We were on spring break, actually down in Myrtle Beach. We do a Myrtle Beach trip every year down in spring break to basically kick off the outdoor season. We were supposed to race that Friday to start off the outdoor season, and as the news rolled in as quick as it did, certainly changes had to be made very, very quickly, and we hit the road back. The challenge that we had was trying to understand what the severity of the situation was and also what actions we needed to take. And frankly, I was remarkably impressed with our team. I mean, they're very young. I mean, primarily last spring, we had nearly all freshmen, a couple juniors and a couple seniors, and their ability to kind of roll with the punches with just the ever-changing by the hour situation was phenomenal. And then, we did very similar things as Lindsay spoke about throughout the spring and now throughout the summer and hopefully just part of the fall, with just keeping that connection up and strong and continuing to build the team in the way that we want to do it. And they've really done a phenomenal job at it. I don't think as a 18-year-old myself could have done nearly as good of a job at holding it together as they have so far. So it's been, I'm so proud of them to say the very least.
And adding to the challenge that your teams are facing is the fact that we're at American University, we're in DC. The regulations are stricter here than a lot of places. And the university's handling the virus very seriously, as they should. But when you look around and you see what other people are doing, they're practicing, they're competing, even in many conferences. What do you tell your team to just keep them, motivated and positive right now?
For me, I really try to get them to understand that sometimes you're seeing a lot of things on social media, and social media paints a very different picture than what's really happening. So, the positivity obviously that you see on social media, but in talking with one-on-one with a lot of my coaching colleagues, they're struggling just like we are. So yes, are we sidelined right now? I think obviously AU and the athletic department is moving in the right direction to, hopefully get us training soon. but it really tried to get them to see the true picture here, and to realize that it's not all sunshine and rainbows like you're seeing, in these other programs, and that they're having shutdowns too. They're having stoppage of play, and we're going to get there. So, I think focusing on the positive is the biggest thing for us right now. And whether it's focusing on their academics, making sure that, a lot of our girls have been given an opportunity to work jobs, to get internships. Even though it's virtual, it's still, again, opportunities for them that they maybe wouldn't have because we would have been training.
We're actually in an interesting situation too, as I continue to talk about being a young team. It's actually a big benefit for us, as bizarre as it is, and to sound like, I'm putting a silver lining on this horrible situation, but with such a young team, to be able to train in a consistent manner for quite a long period of time puts us in a spot that will be really beneficial down the line. These athletes are getting a level of training that really only professionals get in the track and field world, and that's sort of the angle that we're taking. In the professional world, you don't really have a cross-country season. You train through the fall and into the winter. You do a little bit of indoor, and then you race professionally outdoor, and that's the exact plan that we're following. That's what I've done in the past, and our assistant coach Alex Knoll has coached a few professionals as well. That the age that they are, I think it's going to be a massive benefit. But that's not to say that it's tough or it's not tough. I was actually talking to a recruit last night, and they was asking the same question: what's it like in DC? And while I don't like our situation, I don't like not being with the team. I don't like not being at school. I think it's right, and to have Sylvia Burwell, former HHS head, making those decisions, shoot, I love it. I don't have to worry about it. The stuff that the school is doing is right, and it's safe, and it's appropriate for what we're trying to get done. So while it's uncomfortable, I have a hard time saying I'm happy about it. I'm not happy. I don't like being on my porch, but I'm pretty confident about being in a much better position as soon as we're given that green light.
That's an amazing perspective. I appreciate you sharing it. Switching gears a little bit from your current team to the future, obviously recruiting is just a major challenge right now. You have to do it entirely differently than you've ever done before. How are you both tackling that situation?
Sean, I'll let you go.
There was a period of about 3 weeks in a row that I was riding around, or I'd like to say running around, but I was on my bike with a GoPro on my head, just trying to get video of the places that we train and the amazing places that we have in and around DC. That's typically something that's very easy to do on an official visit. Like, hey, let's jump into vans and check it out. Here's where we go. Here's where you get to train. Here's what you get to see in the day-to-day. But the nice part is we have those things. We have these. We still have these amazing facilities. We still have these amazing places to go and see and experience. We just got to show it in a different way. So that's been tough. I got some perspective from my father the other day because I was complaining about it, honestly. And he said that, when I picked the school, he's from Jersey, and he went to school up in Buffalo, New York area. He's like, the first time I saw the campus is when I stepped on campus, the first day of school. He's like, wow, this seems difficult. This isn't that far removed from what had been in the past. So yeah, we just got to alter a little bit and do the best we can to show the amazing things we have here. And I think the athletic department speaks for itself in some fashion too, and the school definitely does.
For us, we've been fortunate. Again, technology is an incredible resource. So for us, through the virtual tours that the athletic department helped put together so that we could show recruits, but for us, it's given our team an opportunity to sit down. So we've actually paired our recruits with our current players over Zooms and given them an opportunity to meet with them, and that's been a huge selling point. So although, and again, I go back to that idea, everything looks beautiful in a picture, everything looks beautiful, but I think to have that one-on-one time with the players that are living and breathing, the American experience, that's what is been, I think, very fortunate for us, to have that time with the recruits and the current players together. So, and for us, we've seen a lot of success. I think, having the 7-0 start, like you mentioned, Karen, last year, I think put American lacrosse on the map. And for us, it's, incredible to see the interest that is, looking at us, and girls that can really make an impact and, are going to come in and help, our program take, another step forward. So, I feel very fortunate that although, we're in this situation, and I'm also using a lot of resources. You've got to, it's not just about finding great players, it's about finding great people. So one of the things that we're doing is not just reaching out to their club coaches or even their high school coaches. We're asking for other sports. I'm calling around and asking, what are they like in the conference? So I think that's really important for us. Like, I want to make sure that we're finding, great people that are going to come in and take advantage of everything that American has to offer. And I think we've seen that so far, and we're excited to continue that throughout the year.
I think what you said about your current players and how they're helping in this process is just another example of how our student athletes have stepped up like never before. That's great. Lastly, I think I just want to ask you both, in this time, obviously we've addressed all the challenges and some of the positives, but personally for you, your families, have you seen some silver linings in this forced break from your normal routine?
Okay. It's been great. I mean, I've got to spend a lot of time with my family. So, between, I have a 4-year-old and a 3-year-old, so I certainly have tried to kind of slow down with them a little bit and enjoy the moments of, not having to have before and after care, and getting to enjoy sit down dinners. We had more family dinners in the last couple months than I think I've probably had in the last couple of years. So, I think we've definitely taken advantage of that. And I think for me, as a new coach, I would have been on the road, I would have been out, and I would have been so focused on recruiting that I think I would have lost sight a little bit of the program development and the player development that I, wanted to implement. So again, silver lining for me is that I've really gotten to know my players, and I've really been given an opportunity to get to know the people in the athletic department, and the support that I've received from every single angle has been just incredible. So I think for me, there's a huge benefit, I think, to this, because of being a little sidelined. And so family and getting to know my players has definitely been a plus.
It's been interesting for me. I've got a pretty good close group of friends in the area that are kind of the same mindset of bubble, if you will, and got to spend a lot of quality time with them and enjoy that time without having that kind of the scary Sundays all the time. That, oh, here we go again. But it's been a challenge too. I mean, I don't want to say it's been fantastic all the time. It's been some tough times too. The interesting part for me is I've kind of been doing in some fashion either coaching or within the track and field arena for almost 20 years now, and I haven't had this amount of time without traveling since I was 15. I'm significantly older than that now, so that's been both enjoyable and I just keep saying interesting to be in the same spot for a long period of time. But it kind of gives you the ability to slow down a little bit, and like Lindsay said, just take advantage of some of the things that very easily you breeze by, and realize that while they may seem normalized or mundane, they're very important parts of your life, and actually enjoying them. So that's been pretty cool. Got my little sidekick here, who's thankfully been quiet. Spent a lot of time. It's a little puppy named Winston, who's a little bit better behaved now that I'm around, but not terribly much. So that's been good too.
Well, I want to thank you both for those interesting perspectives and all the positive outlooks and great conversation. I want to wish everybody happy Halloween later this week.
Oh, well played.
Yeah, that's right. We'll see you next time for another Coaches Coffee and Conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you.